Good evening, everyone. How are you? Thank you for joining me. Anthony will be here in just a little bit. He's finishing a video for us. How is everyone doing tonight? Jackie Oliver, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Okay, so this week I am starting off an update kickoff. What does that mean? Well, since Delphi trial got moved back, that means we can cover some stories that we've covered in the past and get some updates. That's what. You are not getting my messages. I don't know what message. Where are you sending me messages at? Okay, I think I got some. Gotta grab a drink. Okay, sounds good. So this week I am personally doing some update shows, and it's going to be like this one. We are advocating for the missing and the unsolved murders. Anthony is jumping on. We are dual streaming tonight because we both have covered this case. And I wanted to start out with it because we had some updates finally that came with the case. But one of the things I'm going to do is give us a general review of the case before I get to the updates. Sound good? Because let me tell you, researching these, I had to go back and research and find out which one was which and which facts went with which case, so I didn't mix them up. So tonight, we are going to start out with baby Amiah Robertson out of Indianapolis. We have been waiting a long time to find out what has happened to her. Now, this case is out of Indianapolis, like I said, Marion County. And our sweet little baby Amiah was 8 months old when she was last seen on March 9th of 2019. She was with her mother's then boyfriend, Robert Lyons, and they were at home in the 200 block of South Holmes Avenue. Now, some of you may remember that Anthony did a video on this. They had a march and they walked right through Amiah's neighborhood. And I don't know if he's still got that on his channel or not. We'll have to find out. I know he's working on making a new video for us. And that's why he's a little late. He's finishing it up. So I'm going to kind of go through the timeline with you. So like I said, she went missing March 9th, 2019. This is an 8-month-old baby. I don't have it, but I'm almost done with this one. Okay. She was an 8-month-old baby, so we know she can't just crawl away, walk away, that type of thing. Something happened to this baby. Her mother is Amber Robertson, and she told detectives that her boyfriend, Robert Lyons, had taken the infant to the babysitter. So detectives at that time said they believe Lyons drove a 1996 maroon Isuzu Rodeo and that it was in poor condition and had spent an extended amount of time in the area of Rockville Road and South Mickley Avenue before he returned to his girlfriend without Amiah. And this was at about 10 p.m. Oh, so glad that you're here. Then, if you're just following this one's a sad one. So a silver alert was issued. Indiana State Police issued a silver alert for Amiah on March 19th, 2019, 10 days after the child was last seen. Detectives said the investigation was hampered because they received conflicting statements from witnesses and family. The Silver Alert police issued a missing person advisory and asked for the public to help them find baby Amiah. That Silver Alert was canceled on March 21st. So they issued it on the 19th, and by the 21st, it was canceled. Police searched several times at the babysitter's home, and that is the 200 block of South Holmes Avenue, where the babysitter lived. They spent 2 days in April of 2019 searching the Holmes Avenue home. So actually searching the home, the yard, all of that. In fact, they dug up the backyard and searched with cadaver dogs, but they didn't find baby Amiah. They also searched an apartment complex, the White River, it was called, and they searched that pond that was there and other locations where Lyons said Amiah should have been. So one of the issues with this case is that Robert Lyons was not so truthful with the police, and he was giving them locations to search that didn't exist. So imagine that. You're a police officer, you're looking for this baby. He says, go here and search for her. Well, there's no such place. That happens several times in this case. Detectives announced during a press conference on March 23rd, 2019, that the search for baby Amiah was now a homicide investigation. They had received conflicting statements from Lyons and Amber, the mother. And that's another thing that's happened throughout this case. The two of them continue to give conflicting statements against one another. So police really didn't know which one had done something with Amiah or knew where Amiah was. Okay. Because they knew that Robert had her last. According to Amber, Robert had her last. But their stories didn't jive. They were conflicting. And they said Lyons had been taunting Amiah's mother about where the infant might be in that conference. So, what is going on? You know, you have an 8-month-old baby missing. You're the last person to see her, and you're taunting the mother about it right in front of cops. Are you crazy? Now, don't get me wrong. Amiah's mother is involved in this too. She's responsible for her daughter, but she did plead for help. She spoke to the media on April 30th, 2019, and issued a plea for her daughter's return. I feel my daughter is still out there, she said. If you have my daughter, please bring her home. Now, as you know, when it comes to searches and other media events, Amber's not involved. She hasn't been involved. This was about the only statement Amber made on behalf of her daughter, Amiah. Hey, Guilty of Crime, thanks for joining us. So after she made the statement, Amber kind of went off key, and family members and advocates have been carrying on and keeping Amiah's story out there. They do walks. They do all kinds of events for Amiah to keep her memory alive. 1 year on the anniversary, they did a balloon release. So the mother hasn't done crap when it comes to searching for her daughter or advocating for her daughter. And that is why, more than 3 years after Amiah disappeared, a Marion County grand jury on September 9th indicted both Amber Robertson and Robert Lyons on felony charges of neglect of a dependent stemming from Amiah's disappearance. The indictment alleges Robertson and Lyons knowingly placed Amiah in a situation that endangered the child's life and resulted in seriously bodily injury. The maximum sentence, if convicted of the most serious offense, is 16 years in prison. Now, the mother was only 23, was held in Marion County Jail, and it doesn't say how old the boyfriend was, but he was close to that age. So let's see here. Okay, so I gave you a general overview of the case. Let's give you the timeline with the dates, because that's important. March 9th. This is the last date anyone remembers seeing baby Amiah alive. Okay. And this is the day that the mother states the boyfriend took Amiah to the babysitter. March 14th, when Amber first spoke with detectives, she said this was the last day she saw Amiah. It's not it's not clear what happened on this day, but detectives later determined she hadn't seen Amiah for nearly a week before this day. March 16th, 2019, the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department was called to a home in the 200 block of South Holmes Avenue to take a missing person report for Amiah. At the time, IMPD said family members told detectives they didn't think Amiah was in danger. March 19th, during the investigation, this is when they were receiving conflicting statements from family members and additional information detectives learned raised their concern for the welfare of baby Amiah. A formal release and missing persons plea were issued around 2 a.m. by IMPD asking for the public's help to find her. This is when police also requested and were later granted a silver alert around 11 a.m. Later that day, detectives got a search warrant for the house, for the babysitter's house, where Amiah was first reported missing, so they could interview possible witnesses and collect any potential evidence that might help them locate the baby. Forensics were collected from the scene as a precautionary measure and to help with the search for Amiah. March 20th, IMPD said they're working with the FBI in their ongoing search for Amiah. Tips led detectives to search the bank of the White River, less than a mile from the home they searched previously. With the help of the Indianapolis Fire Department, detectives eventually said they found items belonging to Amiah. So this is important. This was at the White River. They actually found items that belonged to Amiah there. March 21st, 2019. Citing a lack of tips, IMPD cancels the silver alert for Amiah Robertson at midnight. The search along the White River expanded downstream, but no new evidence was located. March 22nd. Family members started searching around the White River for Amiah. Then the chief, Brian Roach, said the search was unsolicited, but thanked them for their help. March 23rd, 2019. During a Saturday press conference, IMPD said their investigation became a homicide investigation, even though they haven't found Amiah. They spoke with Lyons, and he had told them several locations where the infant should have been, but after checking each location, they were unable to find the infant. Detectives said some of the locations where Lyons sent them never existed. Detectives also revealed during this press conference that Lyons had been taunting Amiah's mother about where her daughter could be. March 24, 2019. Detectives requested firefighters to help search a pond near the Mariners Village apartments in reference to a tip they received. Crews completed a brief search, but it became too dark for them to operate safely. The following day, the 25th, the firefighters returned around 9:30 a.m. to the pond to continue searching. April 29th, detectives start searching the home of the babysitter on Holmes Avenue, the last place Amiah was believed to be. Chief Chris Bailey said detectives started searching the home after receiving a tip about something being in the backyard. They took out bags of possible evidence that day. April 30th, 2019, crews returned to the babysitter's home. This time, cadaver dogs were used, and a team from the University of Indianapolis joined them. Together, they dug up portions of the yard. They were unable to locate anything to help detectives with their investigation. After this is when Amiah's mother issues a plea for her daughter's return. October 12, 2019. About 7 months after Amiah went missing, friends and family gathered as they continued to push for answers. March 9, 2020. 1 year since Amiah was last seen alive, detectives continue to investigate. She still hasn't been located. Then we jump to March 5th, 2022. Nearly 3 years after Amiah was last seen alive, a memorial walk was held on the west side of Indianapolis to pray for and remember her. The memorial walk gave people a chance to celebrate Amiah's short life, her grandfather, Chuck Robertson, said. And Chuck, her grandfather, has been very active in these events for Amiah and at these memorial walks for her and being in the media. He said there's still people out there who remember her and are trying to help us go get justice, to find out what exactly happened to her. Whatever happened, somebody needs to pay for this. And he's right. September 12th, 2022. On Monday, September 12th, IMPD and Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears announced Amber and Robert had been indicted by a grand jury on several charges in connection with Amiah's disappearance. So, they were arrested, they were indicted, and since then, we have sat here and waited. There's been continuance after continuance after continuance in their hearings, each one of them. And it's frustrating how long this takes, but it does take time to get these trials going. Let's see here. I'm only seeing Andrea's and my. No, you should see everybody in our chat. Yeah, they searched all over for that poor baby. They've gone to multiple places. It's just, there's been all kinds of rumors and stories out there. We don't know if they're true. One about a dog attacking Amiah. Like I said, we don't know what's true and what's not. So I'm not going to get into those theories and rumors, but Down Under says, so they think that the dropping off to the babysitter was a BS story. That's the only story they have. They know that he was in a certain location, but that is the story that they have. And the fact that that's where he supposedly took her.
We interrupt this program to bring you a breaking news live story coverage on Amiah Robertson 2024.
I don't have any good news that's going to bring any closure to this family or the community in a case of the missing Amiah today.
Anthony,
we still need information. What's unfortunate about this whole thing is there are people that know. There are people that know what exactly happened to Amiah.
I can't hear you either.
You can't hear me either? Okay.
I can't hear you at all.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Okay, having some technical difficulties. I couldn't hear anything he said. Could any of you?
All right, man. You just had me do that, and they said they could hear it. I just checked it on the phone. I could hear it.
Now you're froze. Oh, I still can't hear anything you're saying.
The viewers can hear me, but you can't. That's what's up.
Oh, hang on. Try it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, now I can hear myself.
It was on my end. Sorry.
Was it? Okay. All right, so I got the video. It's ready. You want me to go ahead and drop it?
Yes.
This is basically everything she's been telling you with some added stuff to it. All right, here you go, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't have any good news that's going to bring any closure to this family or the community in a case of the missing Amiah today. We still need information. What's unfortunate about this whole thing is there are people that know. There are people that know what exactly happened to Amiah, where she's at, and they don't have the moral courage to come forward and say what needs to be said. And that's disappointing. It's disappointing as a citizen, as a human being, that there are people that know what happened to this innocent child and don't have the moral courage to come forward and do the right thing.
A mother says the threats and harassment continue more than 6 months after her daughter disappeared.
Every day I get on to find out that everyone is sitting and saying that I don't search for my daughter, I don't cry over my daughter, I don't have love for my daughter the way I should, I don't care about my daughter, whatnot. The things that I do for my daughter, I do behind closed doors for a reason. And that is not to hopefully get as bashed as bad as I do.
But says the search is being made more difficult by people spreading misinformation and threatening her online.
I get threatened that I'm going to be protested at my job, protested at houses that I'm at. I get threatened that I'm going to get beat up, whatever the case may be. And I mean, this isn't how it should be. I mean, this is a 1-year-old that is missing that would love to be home and gets no help from people because they waste their time spending it on bashing me.
Robertson says there's not a day that goes by that she doesn't think about where her daughter Amiah is.
I still look for her. Right now, where she could be, I don't know. I just pray she's with someone who is taking care of her and giving her the things that she needs and the attention that she needs, because she's a 1-year-old who can't do it herself.
Welcome to True Crime Investigates and Beyond the Evidence. Tonight, we're revisiting the unsolved case of Amiah Robertson, the Indianapolis infant whose vanishing has baffled authorities and broken hearts. It all began on March 9th, 2019, when Amiah was last seen. But her disappearance wasn't reported until a week later, after her mother got into a domestic dispute with her former boyfriend, Robbie Lyons. That sparked a search that has yet to provide answers. Because on the night of March 8th, 2019, Amiah's mother, Amber, and her boyfriend at the time, Robbie, were out partying with some friends.
Police searched several locations with cadaver dogs back in 2019.
At some point, the two decided that they needed a babysitter. And so Robbie Lyons left the party with Amiah and took her to this home.
Just took another turn. It includes a video.
And she was never seen again.
The FBI is assisting with this video handed over by a homeowner near Amiah's babysitter's house, where she never showed up, according to mother. The video shows a blue pickup truck pulled up to a dumpster on March 16th, where someone exits the vehicle. A second security camera then records the same pickup truck pull up to Amiah's babysitter's home, with mom reportedly inside, who eventually meets with a police officer to report Amiah missing.
It hurts, honestly, for her being gone. And I don't know. I really can't talk about it. I start tearing up. It's really hard to even talk about it, honestly.
What's your plea to the public?
Tell the news, tell the police, tell anything to get the little girl home. That's all I'm worried about, getting her home.
Cops dug up the yard, and all they found was a dead dog. Are the people at this house in on it too?
I mean, we ain't done nothing.
I went to their house, knocked on the door.
Leave us alone.
And I listened to people scream profanities at them. Because the public and the neighborhood thinks they're involved.
Get all that up right over.
At the 2-year mark, 2021, the efforts to find Amiah have not yielded results. I traveled to Indianapolis to investigate the case, question potential suspects, and shed light on a community that's heartbroken. I've seen people who've been at the forefront of this case, searching tirelessly and documenting the 2nd anniversary of her disappearance and more, but the case has saw no movement.
The police kicked us out of our house, told us we had to leave. They come in here the next day and dug up my yard looking for that baby, and they found nothing. I was just glad they didn't dig up right there where that rock is, because my Rottweiler's buried there.
A copy of the search warrant provided by Barry doesn't list details or a location.
The warrant didn't even have an address on it. They could use it, wasn't anybody's house.
But they showed up at his. Barry's wife, Jeanette, is the woman police called Amiah's babysitter.
I don't have nothing to do with that baby.
She declined to talk to me on camera, saying her attorney advised her not to. Barry told me she watched Amiah 3 times.
My wife seen her for the first time like the end of February. What was it? She came out missing the 9th of March. It's 92 weeks. She's a babysitter.
And then a glimmer of hope when Amiah's mother faced charges for neglect of a dependent.
Hours ago, they have arrested the mother of 8-month-old Amiah Robertson.
And her former boyfriend, Robbie Lyons, the last man to see Amiah, received a prison sentence related to the little girl's disappearance.
Even if he doesn't know where she is, he may have information that could help lead to knowing where she is.
But Amiah herself still remains missing. The community is left with haunting questions. Was Amiah killed? And if so, where is she now? The absence of her presence is a void that cries out for closure. And so tonight, if you have any information no matter how small, about the disappearance of Amiah Robertson, please come forward. Help bring peace to a story that has none. Tonight, we're breaking it down. Is this a case of no body, no crime? These two should be indicted for murder, and we're not gonna stop until that happens. All coming up right now on YouTube Live. This is Beyond the Evidence and True Crime Investigates. The search for baby Amiah.
So yes, you are right, Yvonne. This sounds eerily similar to Harmony Montgomery in so many ways. You're muted, hon.
Sorry. I don't know Harmony's case all that well, but I do know of it because I remember reporting on it when she went missing and thinking,
Yes.
man, the dad probably had something to do with that. And here he was just getting sentenced the other day. So for that, pretty much. So
He got sent. Well, okay, so here's the parallels. Both girls go missing, right? Amaya's not reported missing for a week. Harmony's not reported missing for 2 years.
2 years.
Right? Okay. They suspect the parents are involved. Amaya's mother, Harmony's dad. Okay. Neither one have been found. Adam Montgomery just got sentenced to 56 years in jail. But one of the key things that happened during sentencing is the prosecutor offered to reduce his sentencing recommendation from 45 years to 35 years if Adam Montgomery would tell them within the next 7 days where they could find baby Amiah or Harmony Montgomery. Now, in Robert Lyons' sentencing, because he took a plea deal, they offered him a deal if he would tell them where baby Amiah was, and he said he rejected it and said he didn't know. So that's why these two cases are a lot alike.
This case strikes me as very interesting with the baby Amiah case because, for one, it's in Indiana, right? And I had the opportunity to go there on the 2-year anniversary of her disappearance in 2021. So I was invited down there, and at the time I was doing a podcast show called True Crime Unfiltered with Amy and Incognito Society. And we were invited down there by Cece Hatton, who wanted more coverage on the case. She is like the spokesperson for them. You know what I mean? She's there in Indy. She searches. She organizes events. We went down there and did a whole march, and like they went to the babysitter's house, Barry and Jeanette. And I'm like, okay, so where are we going from here? Because we parked at this one building, and we walked, around to this other one. And when we got to this house, I said, well, what's here? And I was filming it, and I don't have that footage anymore, but I wish I did. I said,
remember
what is
it.
this? Yeah, and they're like, this is the babysitter's house. This is where Robbie brought Amiah, or said to have brought Amiah, the night she disappeared. And he was seen like leaving or there was a pickup truck, and he was seen walking with something in his hands, but you couldn't tell what it was. So it's like they go to drop the baby off at that house. They say they never showed up with the baby. Okay. But there was clearly that they showed up there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So are the people at that house, Barry and Jeanette, involved in this disappearance thing?
Yeah. Good question, because so remind me this. Who actually admitted that the baby was at that house? Did Barry or Jeanette admit?
So I think that Barry and Jeanette said that the baby never arrived at the house that night, but Robbie had initially said that that's where he took the baby. Or
Right.
Amber said, one of the people said, I can't remember it exactly for sure, but it was said that they were at a party and they decided that the baby needed to be somewhere else because they were going to get screwed up, right? So I guess Amber had Robbie take the baby to the babysitter's, Jeanette's house, and somewhere from the time leaving to the time arriving, or actually arriving there with her, that's where the question remains. And they
Right.
don't have enough evidence to charge him with murder, but it's obvious that they know, because it went
Exactly.
on for so long. I mean, when we did that march, Marv, the mom did not show up and she lived a block away.
She doesn't. The only thing that she did was that initial media appearance where she said, "Bring my baby back." She hasn't
Yeah.
done any marches. She hasn't searched. She hasn't been into any of the walks. It's all the other family members. And what is her name? Cece?
Cece Hatton. Yep.
Cece that does everything for Amiah. And she had more kids after Amiah. That's
And
the sad
she's
part.
pregnant in jail.
Is she?
Well, she was. I don't know how long she's been in jail, but she was pregnant in jail when she got arrested. So she has, I think, 4 kids, right?
I
Like
believe
3
so.
other than Amiah, and she was pregnant with one. So she had 5, man. And they're all different. I think they're all different dads, every single one of them. Not saying that's a
Probably.
bad thing, ladies, but she was like 20. I mean, with like 4 or 5 kids by like 4 or 5 different guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
And with a guy that she doesn't have a kid with, and he's the one that's responsible for disappearing her kid.
Right.
It's sickening to see that.
But they know too that, like I said in that timeline, they know he was between a certain point in town during a certain time. So did he even was he too messed up and didn't even take the baby to the babysitters?
Well, his phone apparently pinged in this wooded area by the river. I think
Right.
is the White River.
White River, and that's where they found some of her items.
And it was said to me at that march by her sisters, Amber's sisters, that she was found there first, where those items were located, and that area had already been searched. So there is question that she may have went there to try to throw some stuff and say, "Look, I found this."
Right. Oh, did you see what Andrea said? She had twins in jail.
Oh my gosh, boy! Someone is I wonder. So the dad of Amiah spoke out. I wonder if the dad of these kids is like in the picture or whatever.
That's crazy.
I mean, I'm curious because, like, I don't know who all you, if this was your significant other that got arrested, or your baby's dad or your baby's mom got arrested for this and was pregnant with your kid, what would you do? I mean, what do you do in that situation? Do you get involved? Do you not?
Yeah,
Pretty
Ron
sure
says
the
she needs
CPS
to be
took 'em.
fixed.
She needs to be fixed. I probably do too.
They messed that up. Items were found at Little Eagle Creek.
Little Eagle Creek. Okay, see, that's crazy, man, because it's all like right there. So Rick Snee is right there in Indianapolis. I think Frank Meister lives near Indianapolis too, right? So I mean, like those people, they should be able to go to these events and like help promote these types of things. Indie Archive, I'd love to see him at a Amiah event, but the anniversary is next March. But I mean, we're going to see some movement in this case because we just seen Robbie get sentenced. Amber is still on the hook. I'll look her up on my case right now while we're talking about this.
Yeah, because I believe now they didn't really get into what he pled to when we watched that. When I watched the sentencing, which was kind of weird. That sentencing was weird in itself.
I'm looking for it. Okay, here it is. So it looks like, what? All right, so here it is. It looks like. So this is, I'm going to pull it up on the other screen here. I think this is, yeah,
Everyone,
this is it.
I just want to say to everyone in the chat, please give Marcia, I think it's Marcia. Let me just double check here. Yes, please give Marcia some love in the chat. Her husband passed away this week, and I just want to send her all of my love and sympathy, and say that if you need anything, let me know. I know how difficult that can be, so you're in our thoughts and our prayers, Marcia, for sure.
For sure. I definitely want you to know that I don't know who you are, but I sympathize with everybody. If you're going through something, I know what that's like. So I wish you the best. And if you need to talk, we're here.
Exactly.
So this is what happened in this case. And
so
we
this
have
is Amber's, right?
This is Robbie's. You said you were curious about Robbie's, so I was looking him up first. So judgment was entered on the 10th. Here's his sentencing was he pled guilty to count 1, neglect of a dependent resulting in serious injury, but resulting in serious bodily injury. That's neglect. That's a felony 3 charge, which carries like up to 16 years, I believe it is.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, I think it's 3 to 16 years. He was obviously put on probation because he has these probation fees.
Yep.
His confinement to commence starts on May 10th. He got 16 years in DOC. He was credited for 606 days, which is not quite 2 years. He got 6 years suspended, so he got 10 years. So sentence, count 1, 16 years imposed, 10 years executed at the Indiana Department of Corrections, 6 years suspended, 3 years to probation, 606 actual days credit, and 202 good time credit days. Parties agree to credit 1 year of home detention as a condition of probation. SAET, MHET, RWI while at IDOC, which is programs like drug programs and different
programs.
And then he's got the home detention for a year after that, or for 3 years, probation, 1 year home detention, sliding scale for fees. Based on his income, he has to have a mental health and psychological evaluation and a substance abuse evaluation and treatment. So he was dismissed counts 2, 3, and 4 for pleading guilty to count 1, which is typical. They're all the same charge.
Right.
Actually, this one was a level 6. This is level 5. This is level 5. So they had him plead guilty to the worst one and sentenced him. So they dismissed the no contact order between him and Amber. And that's it.
Yeah, so basically he was sentenced to 16 years, except they suspended 6 of them. So he's serving 10 years. 3 years of probation and 1 year of house arrest, right?
Correct. Yep, 10 years in the Indiana Department of Corrections, and then the other 6 is like on the community corrections.
Right. So now my question to you is, do you think that he is not leading him? Do you think Robbie's not leading them police to Amiah? Because that's going to prove that he is the one that did something and try to avoid those bigger charges.
100%. I'm pretty sure this is one of those cases that seems like Barry Morphew case, Suzanne Morphew, where they dismissed his charges because they didn't have enough evidence. They didn't have a body. So they couldn't say for sure. They can't say Suzanne Morphew was killed by somebody. So without that body, and I've seen people convicted. Patrick Frazee got convicted without a body. But this is that case. They don't have proof that he killed her. Okay. The statements that Amber makes on the media always says, I hope that if someone has her, she's safe and they're taking care of her and stuff like that. Robbie says he doesn't know where she is. Amber says she doesn't know where she is. I think they were going to take the baby anyway from CPS and stuff. So I think that Amber and Robbie probably organized something to have the baby put somewhere. If she's not dead, she's staying with someone, and that person's keeping it a secret, and the babysitters know about it. Are you there, Marv? Or am I glitched? Am I glitched, or is Marv glitched, everybody? Okay, so I don't know. All right, anyway, so we're going to go ahead and look up Amber Robertson here. So it looks like this is it here. Marv is like gone. I don't know what happened with Marv. She glitched up. She's gone, everybody. Marv disappeared. So Amber was charged with a felony 3. There's her attorney's information, and she was charged for the incident on 3/9/2019. So she was placed, let's see, motion to seal records filed. See, it's not only the Delphi case, everybody. Probable cause found. Oh my gosh, the judge signed probable cause. They set bond in the amount of $2,000 surety, which means to a bondsman. And then they unsealed 2 public records so people could get those things. And then there you are. She was appointed indigent counsel at county's expense. Court set the bond again at $200,000, 10% held for pretrial release electronic monitoring, which means if she pays $200,000, okay, which is she'd have to pay $20,000 cash, she would be put on an ankle monitor while pending trial. So they assigned her to all that. Her attorneys filed their appearances, motion to review bond and vacate no contact orders, bond hearing and no contact order. They had a hearing. And let's see. Defendants calls 1 witness. State calls witnesses. No contact orders remain. State would like no contact orders to remain in effect, and defense argument on no contact order. The court sets the bond, so the court modified her bond and gave her a bond reduction.
Big bond reduction.
Yeah, from $200,000 to $60,000 with 10% allowed. In the same conditions with the home detention and GPS monitoring. So now she has to pay $6,000 to get out to a bondsman that would take her. Order to release from custody to be held for other agency. That must have been a mistake. Defendant must post bond to be released. Those are protective orders that are filed. Here's the discovery information. Let's see if we can get down here to the nitty gritty. Where are we at? 2002. Oh, look, they're putting cameras in the courtroom. May 9th, 2023.
Yes.
Approval for media cameras in the courtroom. Should put in one for this court, you know, try to get in there. They denied it on this one, on the 18th.
Yeah, no.
Motions filed. All right. Where are we at? 2023. Here's December. Okay, so they filed a motion to dismiss, denied in February. Motion in limine, filed by the defense in April. Defendant's motion for additional time to conduct voir dire, which is like breaking down the jury, which is what they were getting ready to do in the Delphi case in Fort Wayne. They're doing discovery request, granting time waivers, a bail review hearing again. They denied that.
Thank God. Her bail's low enough.
Okay, they filed a fast and speedy deadline.
But that was 4/29, so that was just recently.
So on 4/30, deadline is July 8th, 2024 to take her to jury trial. Okay, so she did the same thing that Richard Allen did and filed for a speedy trial after being in jail, and she now has to go to trial by June 24th. That's when she's going to go.
Yep. So we do have a hearing at the end of this month, 5/31. Go down a little bit right there.
Where at? Nope.
5/31.
No, this was today. This was filed today. Pre-aspy for transcript filed today by her attorneys. Yep. So this is 6/21. So there's not anything until the 21st.
6/21, they're going to have a hearing that was rescheduled from 5/31. And then they have to have a trial. So where's the actual trial date?
Right there. Here's her jury trial, the 24th.
Oh, okay.
And 9 o'clock in the morning. 9 o'clock in the morning, right there, June 24th, and that is in Marion County, which is Indianapolis, Superior Court 28. So it's like real high up. And Marion County is not a small place. It's downtown Indianapolis. It's the jail and the courthouse is all combined. And there is like, you're going up floors to be on a certain courthouse, you know? So there's a lot of people there.
Okay. So that is one trial we have to look forward to.
That's coming up real quick.
But in the meantime, is she going to take a plea like Robbie did?
Well, you know what? This kind of takes us to, will Richard Allen also take a plea? You know what I mean? Now that they're pushing it back. I mean, these people, you got to think, everybody, we're sitting here watching this from the outside and we're like, oh man, it's dragging on more, you know, with the Amiah case, with Richard Allen's case, with any other case, all we do is look at it and go, man, dude, it just keeps dragging on. But you got to think about what the defendant is thinking. Like Richard Allen or Amber or Robbie, they're sitting in there going, damn, dude, they're going to hit me for murder, man. Gosh, I'm going to be in here for the rest of my life. I don't know when I'm getting out. And they're just living on that hope, the tiniest little hope that one day they might be able to get out. You know?
Yeah, I agree, Camaro. She says they shouldn't be allowed to take a plea unless they admit what they done and tell where that baby is. I agree.
I agree. That would be a stipulation of the plea. And if the prosecution didn't make that a stipulation, I think that, you know, I would bring that to the prosecutor's attention and be like, listen, don't let him plead guilty to nothing, okay, and just walk away from this. You want answers, and you have to tell them, lie to him. Have someone lie to him. You know, the prosecutor's not allowed to lie to him, but the cops can. The cops can say, look, man, if you just tell us where she is, no murder charges for you, you know? And they may not file murder charges. They may file like, what is it called? Like involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah.
Voluntary, you know, you intentionally did something and she died because of it. So there's ways of getting around and charging these people.
Well, Lollipop says, what if they admitted to selling her? What would they get?
Child or trafficking a child. You can't sell a person.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't sell. Like that's illegal. You can't give up adoption to someone who wants to have babies. They can't pay you money to have a baby and give it to them.
Right.
You're right. It's like a written contract. It kind of is that way, but it's like a written contract that says that they're paying for the expenses. Yeah.
Right.
And that's my question is if they didn't want the baby, there's plenty of people that would have taken that baby. Plenty.
Yeah, I don't think they sold her. I mean, anything's possible, but I think something happened to her. Whether it was an accident, intentional, something happened to that baby, they freaked out. They put her somewhere, and
yeah, it's gross to think that. So when I was there at the walk and we was doing the walks, I was recording and I was talking to Chuck, who is Amiah's grandfather. Yeah, Amber's dad. And I also talked to his other daughters, Amber's sisters, who are a little bit older than her. Okay. And they were there and they did interviews with me. And I got some pictures of it somewhere, but they were like, listen, we want something to happen here because it's been, at the time, it was 2 years and Amber wasn't showing up to any of these events. Cause I'm like, is the mom here today? And they're like, no, she's not here. She don't come, man. That's the problem. And we set this up a block away from her house. She doesn't come. She doesn't care. Like that's why we think there's something wrong. And that's why we think that someone needs to be charged and there needs to be some accountability. And the family of her was saying that. And her dad was like, it's a disgrace, man. My daughter lives right over there. She won't even come over here. You know, and I'm like, well, what happens if I go over and knock on her door? No answers. She's home. Yep. I know she's home because her sister's texting. Right. And when we're walking, the dad or Chuck says, hey, you see that guy over there on that house standing on that porch? I said, yeah. He said, man, right after the crime happened, he said, he came to me. I saw me out there and said, hey, I know what happened to that baby. A dog killed it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And he's telling me this. And this is her grandfather. He said a Rottweiler dog was aggressive or something. And they were partying and it bit the baby and hurt her bad enough to where they felt like they needed to hide it because they thought they were going to be in trouble for.
Well, and that's what Mark in India is saying. What are the chances that something happened to that baby at that party before Robbie even left with her? Chances are very good.
Yeah, I think so too, because there's video footage. You know, when we look at that case, there's video footage of that truck, okay, that shows up on that night. And then also shows up on the day that they report her missing, and Amber's in it, okay, that day to meet with the cops. Why did she wait until Robbie went to jail to call the police? They had a fight. He went to jail that night for them fighting, okay, with each other. And then she reports Amiah missing on the 16th. Why?
Right.
Why that long? Where was Amiah in between point A and point B? That's where I think that she could be alive somewhere with somebody else, is that was where she was being transported from somewhere else, and she was waiting for her to get there safely before reporting her missing.
She reported her missing. I mean, anything is possible. My prayers are that this baby is alive somewhere with people who love her and who are taking care of her. That's my hope and my prayers. Reality tells me it's probably not that. I mean, how many stories do you actually hear where that happens? No.
Well, you know what? How many stories do we actually hear where no one ever gets found? Ever.
Right.
Are they really alive somewhere? Because I've seen cases where like this girl comes out of the woodwork and she's like, oh my gosh, I've been missing for 30 years and had no idea I was this person. I was told I was this person, and I grew up with this family who acquired that child somehow in this like trade or buying them somehow, or was given. I mean, it's people are crazy when it comes to like taking other people's kids and like keeping them.
True.
It's Michelle Bika, this lady I covered on my Very Scary Stories thing, actually went and faked her pregnancy for 8 months and then killed her neighbor and cut the baby out of her and pretended like it was hers. And her husband believed it until the cops showed up.
Oh, this is interesting. Y'all heard of Oakley Snow, a murdered 3-year-old in Indiana? Yes, I've heard of her. Her mother shares a cell with Amiah's mom.
Really?
Interesting.
Wow. Who said that? So have you must be watching Brooke McKenna? Wow, I didn't know that. That's kind of crazy. The weird twists and ties.
Yep.
All these cases combined are just odd. Oh my gosh. Here,
That's crazy.
Wow, hang on. I'm gonna show you what this is here, everybody. So that case, I never heard of it before, but we're about to hear it right now.
I briefly heard about it.
Check this out.
Oh, I remember her.
And her boyfriend have been charged in the death of a toddler here in Indianapolis. Just moments ago, we found out that 2-year-old Oakley Snow's body was found in a dresser of an abandoned structure in Morgan County. The 2-year-old from Oklahoma has been missing since January. A neighbor told police that he saw the couple carry out what appeared to be a child wrapped in a blanket, and that the child did not appear to be moving. Now, police say that Oakley has not been located despite multiple searches. And today, the toddler's mother, Madison Marshall, and her boyfriend, Ryan Waters, have been charged in Oakley's death. Marshall and Roan, have been charged with neglect of a dependent resulting in death. Now, Roan is also facing a murder charge. Now, we are working to learn more about these charges, so you'll want to stay with 13 News for any updates as we will bring those.
Wow. So that girl, so charged with the same thing.
Yep.
So it's kind of the same situation almost.
It is.
You know what I mean? You got a girlfriend and a boy. I don't know. So the dad, the guy in this situation, is that the dad of this?
I don't know.
No. Does anybody have more information on that? Because mother's boyfriend arrested. Okay. So no, he's not the dad. So this is eerily similar. It's almost identical.
I only know this because I'm close with Oakley's family. Okay.
Oakley. I'd never even heard of this before.
They need to have a microphone in that cell. Yep.
Dude, you know what? I bet both them girls are probably like, oh yeah, what happened in your case?
Yeah, Amiah's
Flip
mom
over and tell the
Madison things, of course.
I wonder if either one of these girls are single. I'll write them a letter and be like, listen, girls.
They did find Oakley, though.
I'll bond you out. Huh? They
Oakley
did?
was found. I do
Yeah, in the
remember
dresser.
this.
In her
Yeah.
dresser. An
Yep.
abandoned dresser. And her mother's boyfriend was charged with murder. So this girl let him kill her, apparently.
Yeah.
Or tried to cover it up.
Isn't it eerie how similar these cases are?
Yeah, and they're in the same cell, which is crazy because
That is crazy.
same stuff, like exact same charges. They're both similar circumstances. They're both in the media. Young girls, their boyfriend was the last person with their kid, and their kid's either missing or dead. That's ironic. Maybe they're doing that on purpose here. Let's see. Madison.
Maybe.
What's her last name? Marshall.
Yeah.
Madison.
Yes, she has, Camaro. She's had kids since... We know she's had twins in jail.
Okay, so there she is. Who did? Oh, Amber?
Amber.
Gosh, that's crazy, dude. Twins in jail. Can you imagine that? Whew, boy. All right, so Madison Marshall is charged with a level 1 felony. She is, wow, that's crazy. A level 1 felony is neglect of a dependent resulting in death.
Oh, wow.
So she was charged with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 counts of things, of different charges, all kind of the same. She was charged, though, in April 26th of 2023. So she's only been in jail for a year.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to pull up my case, and we'll take a look at that.
Yeah.
She got the same bond, $200,000 surety. No contact orders. What else? Discoveries.
Motion.
Motion for continuance. Looks like jury trial is not scheduled until September, but there is, they asked for a continuance. So so that's not going to happen for a long time for her.
Well, we're going to have to add that case to the mix to our list to keep track of too then.
And there was approval of media requests for cameras in the courtroom in this case as well. So it looks like they did have cameras in the courtroom for that case. So that's another one that we can actually see play out. I'm really interested in seeing how that works, because I think that Amber and this girl, Madison, might be looking at the same thing. They're probably both wanting each other to finish their case first.
Exactly.
I think Madison will plead guilty. The evidence is too compelling against her because you got the dude, and he's going to ask for a lighter sentence by saying, she helped me, or she did it, or she planned it.
Yeah. Misty, Amiah's case happened in 2019. Does it say when, I can't remember
2023.
Oh, 2023.
Madison Marshall.
But what's her daughter's name? Something Snow?
Oakley Snow.
Oakley Snow. Okay. I'm going to write that down, because then we're going to have to keep that on our update list too.
Okay, I found it. So I'm going to show you guys what Oakley Snow looks like, actually.
The coroner has now released the final autopsy report for 1-year-old Oakley Snow. The little girl's death tonight is classified as a homicide of unspecified means. Police discovered her body in a dresser drawer in an abandoned home in Morgan County last April. Now, Metro Police believe her mom's boyfriend actually killed her in a house on the south side of Indianapolis back in February.
How sad.
Oh, wow. That's crazy, because, okay, so they're saying that he killed her in February in Indianapolis and then left her in an abandoned home in Morgan County, which is where Martinsville is. I was in Morgan County. So, wow, that's crazy. So you know what? So now I think that I know. Do you remember when they did that search of the woods in Morgan County and we all thought it was for Lauren Spear?
Yeah, but it
was
wasn't
this
for Oakley Snow.
It was this, yep, because they searched a house and they said that they had found a body there, but they never said who it was. I thought it was Lauren Spear.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, Andrea, I did cover Oakley Snow. I just forgot about it.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow, this is nuts. So I see some of these cases I don't even know about, everybody. I don't really I don't watch true crime. I don't watch anything, to be honest. I'm too busy doing all this stuff all the time. Uh like these are intriguing. This is why I should be interested into it more and have more free time to be able to watch videos and see things. I
Yeah.
think I should start doing like a Delphi or how Graz used to do Delphi this week. Just what the hell's happening in the true crime news?
Well, and like I said, this week is the kickoff. Tonight is the kickoff of the updates. So we've actually done tonight. We've done an update on baby Amiah. We've done an update on Harmony Montgomery, and now Oakley Snow. Tomorrow night is Athena Brownfield. The next night is Athena Strand. And then Friday, we're going to have a fun night. And then Monday, we're going to kick it off with even more updates, shows next week. So keep an eye on Beyond the Evidence, because I'm bringing back some of these older cases and giving updates on what's happening.
You know what? That's a good thing that you're doing that too, Marv, because this is what we talked about at the beginning of the year, that we wanted to branch out. We wanted to cover more cases and talk about the cases that aren't necessarily out there in the media, that people don't talk about on the regular. You have a big case that happens and you've got all the YouTubers covering it, right? And only a select few will get the hits on that, right? And then people will start following that channel for that, and they kind of become that channel.
Yep.
But that's not really fair to the victims, you know what I mean? Or
No.
the people and stuff, because they're looking for answers, and they can't get them unless you cover it,
Yeah. Love, I added her to the list. And if you guys have any other cases that you want me to cover, put them in the comments below the videos. I will definitely cover them.
Yeah, and it may not be right away. That's what I want people to know, is I get your messages and your emails. And I actually had someone message me the other day and say, hey man, have you heard of this case? You should talk about this, because this just happened. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be real honest with you. I am so stuck on the Delphi case right now because there's so much happening. I can't get away from it. I don't honestly have time to do it because I'm working on that. I'm working on that show, and also trying to create videos like this for you and other people to try to keep things going and be live on my channel.
But I think that's why this is going to work, because I'll do Delphi discussions every once in a while, but you focus on Delphi. I'll focus on these other cases. We'll come together when we can and go from there.
Yes. All right. I want to show you guys something. So someone just asked me a question, and I'm going to respond to it with a video and a link after I send you that video. So the link is going to come in just a second, ladies and gentlemen, when I drop it right here in the chat. And the question was from, where is it? Where is Graz?
Oh.
Quit asking me questions. Yeah, I know you, but we ain't friends. Quit asking me questions. Yeah, we in this section, but you can't get in. Quit asking me questions.
You guys got to go subscribe to Graz, man. He's back. He's back.
Is he?
He's back, and he's already done a live stream 3 days ago.
Ariel Sellers in Hawaii. Okay, I'll add her to the list too.
Ariel Sellers in Hawaii. Foster child. Foster parents done something with her. Kind of sounds like Orrin and Orson.
Yes. Maddie is a little 12-year-old girl in North Carolina. Parents failed to report her missing for 2 months. What is up with this? Love,
you know what?
Can you give me her full name so that I can look that story up?
Maddie, missing 12-year-old North Carolina. Oh, you talking about? Or I don't know. Madison Kojikari expands to Madison
okay.
County, North Carolina.
Madalena. Is it Madalena?
Madalena. Yep, Madalena.
Okay. Yes, I have her on my list.
Kojikari, I think it is.
Yep.
The Cornelius Police Department is asking for additional witnesses and information connection to the cases of missing 11-year-old. So hold on, I'm going to pull that up and show you guys what I'm looking at here, because this is kind of an update on whatever you guys are talking about, because I'm unfamiliar with this, but you guys are bringing a lot.
Not familiar with this either.
Yeah, you guys are bringing a lot to our attention tonight.
It's releasing new photos and a new request to the public. Today, they wanted to know anyone in Madison County in the late November to mid-December timeframe, whether they might have seen Madalena's mother, Diana, or this Toyota Prius. And they said, please reach out with information if you have. We're going to show you a closer look at those photos in just a moment. But first, we want to remind you of where this plea fits into what we know about the Madalena timeline. So police are asking for eyewitnesses in that area north of Asheville from November 22nd to December 15th. And you might remember that this is the time frame that starts basically the day after Madalena was last seen publicly. So that was getting off of her school bus. It also includes the point of time where Madalena's stepfather says that he went to Michigan. It goes up until the time that the school starts to become aware that she was missing and then was formally reported missing by her mother. Now, former FBI agent M. Quentin Williams is shedding some light on this latest alert.
They have some evidence that she was spotted or her car was spotted in this area. Cameras are really important. They're vital. So anybody with camera footage in those areas or between here and there that might have some footage, that's going to be really important.
All right, so here's a closer look at those photos. Here you see Diana Kojikari, Madalena's mother. There's, of course, Madalena, and there's the Toyota Prius that Cornelius Police was talking about. Now, Williams says from an investigative standpoint, the FBI is trying to get as much detail on the mother and the stepfather's movements as possible. So any eyewitness information coupled with the cell phone records we know investigators wanted can paint a clearer picture. If you know anything, you can reach out to Cornelius Police. There's the number on your screen here. You can also submit a tip to the FBI tip line. That address there is tips.fbi.gov.
I'll do a deeper dive on that case. Yeah, absolutely. So one of the cases that is going to be coming up after this week, I just want you all to know, is Timothy Pitson. Don't know if you've heard of him or remember that case. It was the case of a boy that lived in Illinois. His father took him to school one morning. Half an hour later, his mother picked him up, said there was a family emergency, and took him out of town. They ended up coming to Wisconsin Dells, to the Kalahari Resort. And after that, he's been missing for the past, 13 years?
Wow.
So that is another story that's going to be coming up next week.
And he's from where?
He's from Illinois.
He's from Illinois. So Timothy Pitson. There are a lot of videos on him.
Oh, yeah.
Dr.
They've
Todd
been trying
Grande.
to find him for years. But I did a deep dive into that case. I got a lot of good information. So that one will be coming next week.
Okay, cool. And you know what? I think next week, ladies and gentlemen, since Delphi has calmed down, and I don't think there's going to be anything too crazy out there. I mean, what am I going to report on? The defense team lying more? So you can only talk about that so much. So I'll try to get some interviews. If you guys still want to talk Delphi, I know you guys do on my channel. I'll get some interviews. We'll talk to some people about Delphi, and I'll give you guys updates on the show that we're filming. We start filming this weekend, and it's a lot of work putting in all this stuff.
But like I said, that's good because viewers can go to your channel for Delphi. I'll still do some discussions on Delphi, until the trial heats up again. But in the meantime, I'm going to start covering these other cases. Together, we'll do both. You'd cover Delphi. I'll cover these other cases. We'll come together on some of them and just keep going like that.
Yeah, you know what? That's the best way to do it because it's hard to just cover every single, you know what I mean? Every single thing. And so it's like,
Yep.
it's easier, ladies and gentlemen, when we do these dual streams and stuff like that, because some of the effort is taken off of you. You know what I mean? Like when
It is.
you don't have to worry, like, okay, I'll set it up. You just do this, this, and this. And it takes a lot of that because it's a lot to set up a live stream. It really is.
Yeah.
Everything changes on this thing. Like the backgrounds, I change it all, the video, and just the research. It's a lot. So it keeps you busy 24/7, pretty much.
It does. Not to mention, I use the Copilot, the AI, to get information, but it's not accurate. So what I normally have to do is I have to look up articles online, then start asking the AI specific questions to get my information, and then put it all together in a script.
That's the hard part. Is putting it into the script.
But I still have to take the time to write out the script myself because if you ask AI to do it, it's very general and very basic, and I want a little more detail in there. So,
yeah. And it's hard to just take something the AI makes, right, and run with it, everybody, because sometimes they're incorrect.
Yep, I found that too.
Let me see what this is. Okay, so yeah, so this is what I'll be covering next week. This is something I'm really excited to cover. If I've never been excited to cover a case, this is one where I'm really excited because I literally think, and people may hate me for this, that I think that a man was found guilty of murder and he shouldn't have been. Okay, that's my thoughts on this.
It happens.
I really think that about this case. I think that this guy was provoked to the point where he reacted back, and he shouldn't have done it so many times to so many people. But the one individual, I think, kind of put himself in the position to get stuck by this guy. Here's a clip of what I'm covering next week, and I'm going over the trial and everything. And I've asked permission from one of the law networks to air the trial or parts of it. So check this out. I'm excited about this, everybody. This is where you're from, I think.
In the heart of summer, the water flows. A day of joy turned into a nightmare no one could have foreseen. Join me, Anthony Greeno, as we dive deep into the chilling waters of a case that shook the nation. A tranquil site turned crime scene. What happened in those critical moments? Witnesses left in shock, a community in despair, and a fight for justice begins. True Crime Investigates brings you an exclusive series unraveling the mystery, piece by piece, episode by episode. Is this a case of murder or self-defense? Only on True Crime Investigates. Don't miss Apple River. The mystery remains.
The Apple River mystery, everybody.
Yeah, actually, I would love to do a dual stream on that one because I have not been able to talk about that one. And that's
good.
from Wisconsin. And
it's good.
I really don't know whether the jury got it right on that case. I can honestly say that. I don't know.
I don't know either. And you know what? I have to deep dive it to know more. Right now, just based on looking at the one video, okay, the piece of evidence that was the most critical is they have that video footage that you guys saw where you actually see the individuals getting stabbed. And
yeah.
But there's a whole segment about 10 minutes prior to that where they're hounding this guy and they're all like, ah, and they're calling him, oh, he's looking for a little girl, ah, and they're like in his face, like a bunch of teen dudes drunk in this guy's face, like, ah,
right.
You know, like to the point this guy is thrown to the ground, smacked, jumped on, is getting up, and someone else jumps on him, and he pulls a knife out and stabs the guy in the stomach, and it kills him. It killed him, killed the guy. So
yeah.
I mean, just by looking at the video, I would have said, you know what, that they shouldn't have attacked that guy. And he was right to defend himself because there was a whole bunch of them. What was he going to do? Beat them all up? He was getting whooped, you know?
Yeah.
But after watching it a few more times, okay, you start to change your mind because then you start slowing it down, start looking, okay, well, why all of a sudden did he just stab that girl? that was like, hey, stop, fighting. And he just stabbed her, and you see her get cut, and you see her start bleeding, and it's like, holy cow, man. Like, and then his
Was
issue was he
innocent
lied.
in one regard, but guilty in another?
Yes, I think that.
Is it a mixture, and that's why they found him guilty?
Hard.
Well,
it is hard. And plus, you have to take into account that sometimes people don't talk, and sometimes people do talk in interrogations. In this instance, he lied. Okay, he didn't tell all the truth about what he did. Exactly. And so because he felt like what he did was wrong, which is why he lied. Because if you didn't feel like you did anything wrong, you'd straight tell him, hell yeah, I stabbed those people, man, because this is why, But if you felt like you shouldn't have, then that's when you may try to cover your tracks and be like, well, I just kind of like threw my hand and he kind of ran into me, and it's, well, no, you knew that you were pulling a knife out.
Oh, Miranda, you'll hear about it. Believe me. Yeah. The trial just got over last week.
Yeah, it just got over with. Nikolai Mew is his name, and he's a foreigner, I think. I don't think he's from the United States, but he is a
foreigner.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Where's he from? Do you know? Do you know where that Nikolai Mew? I don't know where he's from, everybody. He's got an accent.
Oh my God, I do know, but I can't think of it. I'm blanking.
I'm gonna look it up. He's from Wisconsin.
No, he's from another country, but I can't think of which country it is. I just listened to it yesterday, the day before.
Okay.
Why am I blanking?
Where is he from, man? All right, so we're gonna see where this dude was from. Where's he from, everybody?
Miracle Heart says, I think he's a creep. Yvonne says, I think he's just socially awkward.
Well, I mean, he seemed drunk in the video as well. Of Prior Lake, Minnesota. Stabbed 5 people in the river in Wisconsin, July 30th, 2022. 17-year-old Isaac Schumann died in the stabbing, and 4 others were injured. The victims ranged in age from 17 to 24 and were from Wisconsin and Minnesota. So he was from Minnesota.
Yeah, but he came from another country.
He did?
Yes. Put what is his country of origin or
Romania.
whatever?
He was born in Romania.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. When he was about 15 or 16, he immigrated to the United States.
Miranda, I've been keeping up with that trial too.
He said he just wanted to live the American dream of tubing in peace. I'm adding that. That's not, he didn't say that. But.
No, I know. So we've got, oh my gosh, in one live, we talked about so many cases with kids and what's coming up. And I'm glad you're doing the Apple River one because I have not had a chance. I am following the Daybell trial. I'm going to wait and tell you my thoughts on that after the trial's over.
I haven't followed any of that stuff. None of it. Don't know.
Well, I'll tell you all about it after it's over.
You know what got me turned away from those cases is when I first was asked to look into it or whatever. I think Carly asked me, oh, you should look into the what's her name? The chick?
Lori Vallow.
Lori Vallow. Isn't it Daybell too?
Yep.
And his name is Chad Daybell. Yeah, I started looking into it and I'm like, wait a minute, man. They're like accused of killing like either his ex or her ex and another one. And these kids. And what got me turned away from that is the moment I started looking into it and seeing like this occult, like they were like felt, I don't know. Can you explain it to me a little bit? They felt like their cult or whatever was supposed to torture kids.
So they're Mormon.
Okay.
We know Mormons have a different kind of religion, right?
Right.
Different thoughts and theories and whatever.
They knock on your door a lot.
They took theirs to a new level. They thought God appointed them to do this and that, and basically they were chosen to bring the people to salvation. And you're right, it was a cult because in the end they killed 2 beautiful children. They killed his wife and they killed her ex-husband and attempted to kill other people in their group. Plus the brother, who we believe did all the killings of the 2 kids and his wife, died suspiciously.
Wait, wait. So they think her brother or his brother?
Okay, so it's actually conspiracy. It's Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell are married now.
Okay, and
Alex Cox was her brother. He is the one who is reported to have unalived these 2 kids and Chad Daybell's ex-wife. The day that Chad Daybell's ex-wife got, she was exhumed.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Cox died.
He just died? Like naturally?
Just died.
So he died the day that whose body got exhumed? One of the exes? This is confusing.
The ex-wife's body got exhumed.
Of Chad's.
Yeah.
Okay, and they say that her brother killed Chad's ex-wife. For what?
And her kids.
Is that Tylee and
JJ?
JJ. Okay. Why would he do that? Why would he kill Chad's kids with another woman?
Nope, he didn't kill Chad's kids. He killed his own niece and nephew.
Oh, so these kids aren't Chad's?
No.
See, this is why it's all confusing. So Chad's charged with murdering these kids as well, and so is Lori?
It's all a conspiracy, yes.
The prosecution has a conspiracy? They're just throwing this as a conspiracy that this may have happened, and they don't have any proof?
No, they got proof it happened. If Alex Cox was alive today, he would be charged the same as Chad and Lori Daybell. But since he's deceased, they can't charge him.
This is weird. I'm going to read this to you guys, what this says.
I will give you a whole breakdown on this case when this trial is over.
This is weird. So it's like Chad was an apocalyptic author and publisher who claimed to have visions from the future and have lived through multiple past lives.
Yes.
The Doomsday Cult. That's where I get that. Doomsday Cult mom. These are
and Anthony, Lori's first ex-husband died unexpectedly. And she was the one that cared for him. So they're thinking that she may be like, what do they call it? The Black Widow?
Oh, yeah, the Black Widow.
Because her first husband died. Her most recent husband was murdered by her brother, Alex Cox. Even though they said it was self-defense.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it's messed up. It's all kinds of messed up.
Look at this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is just odd to see, like, just reading some of this stuff. Go to the Wikipedia, everybody, if you guys want to just read through this. I'm just kind of glancing through it to kind of get some information, but this is some weird stuff. This is almost like Delphi 2.0.
Oh, it is?
What's wrong? Okay, so I don't understand this. So this occult thing is true, though, right? In this situation. So, like, they were doing this as part of a religion. And wasn't that other lady kind of doing that, too? That, what's her name? Ruby Frankie and that other chick? Weren't they kind of doing something similar?
I believe so. I don't know so much about that case.
Like, they were... How do you get this thing back?
So I do know that with Chad and Lori, they said the kids turned into zombies.
They did?
Yes. So there's all kinds of things you gotta... Oh, yeah. It gets deep.
Yeah, they're weird.
Weird doesn't cut it, honey.
She filed for divorce from this Charles. Okay, these cases are so much to get into. It's hard to make just an update on a case.
Yeah,
Because when I
no,
feel like I need to make an update on a case and tell you guys like what's happening, like, okay, this dude went to court or this chick went to court and this happened, I can't just do that because I have to give you an entire background of everything that's happened. And in order to do something like that, that'll take a month.
that's why I'm waiting till the end of this trial.
Of which,
The
Chad Daybell's?
Chad's trial to even cover this. Because Lori is being charged again and is going to trial again on the murder of her ex-husband and the attempted murder of
what,
her best friend's husband or something like that. So there's going to be another trial for her yet too.
In Arizona or something like that. So this happened where now?
Utah.
Okay, so what's her deal with Arizona? So she was arrested in Hawaii, and these murders of this, where Chad and all that is happening where in Utah, but why was she in Arizona?
Because that's where her ex-husband was unalived, and the attempted unaliving of another family member.
Lori's departure from Idaho. Okay. It was also decided to further investigate Tammy's death. Her body was exhumed for an autopsy December. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is very interesting. This is just weird stuff.
It is, but
it
would be better to cover it after Chad's trial is over, because then you could combine the two because they're so similar. Tell the whole story once and just say what Lori got in her sentencing, and what Chad got. Now he's up for the death penalty. She wasn't.
I wonder why.
There was a snafu with her trial, and they wouldn't let them do the death penalty.
Okay.
But he is up for the death penalty.
Okay, so prosecutors are alleging that Lori had groomed and manipulated her brother to participate in her crimes.
Yes.
So in the closing argument, Lori's attorney depicted her as being under Chad Daybell's psychological control.
Oh, yeah.
She got sentenced to consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole.
Right. She's never getting out.
No. She shows no room. When I see that lady, she's just like a witch.
You should have heard her statement during her sentencing.
What'd she say?
Oh my God.
I think I may have covered her sentencing.
It was one of the most bizarre things I have ever heard. How she's talked to her kids and her kids are happy. And
oh, yeah. Yeah.
Kind of almost like how bizarre Caleb Hart or Montgomery's victim impact statement was all about her and what Adam did to her. It really didn't have anything to do with Harmony. It was disgusting. Both of them. Lori's and
Kayla's
was just disgusting.
I mean, they're all like that, you know? I mean, look at what people say, you know, that are always guilty of it. I mean, some people eventually crack and tell the truth and like, yeah, I did it, dude. Like Chris Watts, it didn't take much to break him. But I don't know. You got some people, man. This just shows that there is weird stuff going on at all times, anywhere, and it could be anybody, because all these people seem to be a lot of these weirdos that get caught with these weird stuff. A lot of these people are never looked at it as any kind of problem. Okay, they may be, that dude's a little weird, man. He's out there. He's a conspiracy theorist. I could see Chad being, if I saw that dude talk in person and he was telling me all this shit, I'd be like, look, dude, you need to smoke a joint and chill out because you're starting to make me weird. You know, like I'm starting to talk weird now.
But he had this way about him with these women that made these women believe him. That's what, he's not good looking in my book.
Is Chad Daybell good looking, everybody?
But
so what's he got? Is he got money?
he had a way of getting to these women and making them believe the garbage he was spilling. He was one of those types.
Is he rich? Has he got a lot of money?
No.
So they were nobodies, just doing this for no reason other than, okay. That's a big plot, dude, to go through with all that.
Down Under says charismatic potato he is. Yvonne says, and he's not all that.
He looks like the dad from Family Guy, Peter Griffin. He does kind of look like Peter Griffin.
No, not good looking at all. So yeah, and he had no money, so I don't know what it was.
Yeah, and she's not good looking either. So she just looks scary. And yeah, and how did he know that she was being exhumed? And how did she know that she died? He predicted it. Oh, I think she's gonna die.
Somehow they were notified that that body was gonna get exhumed. That did come out just recently in his trial.
This kind of reminds me of the Alex Murdaugh case.
Yes.
You know, with, it's just the types of people that they do something and they just straight
lie
about it. Like all these cases are like that. You always look at the defendants, everybody, and how many of these people are found guilty, right? Whether we think they are or not, most of them are found guilty. Most of them that are on these cases like this. Very rare do you see someone acquitted.
Oh, so he found out from friends who work in the funeral industry. Okay.
Yeah, so see, that's even more.
Yes. So money was involved, but it wasn't like she was getting in the daughter was getting payments from her dad. When her dad passed, her daughter was getting money. Lori took that money over after they unalived her. Same thing with, I believe, with JJ. And her previous husband had some money, and she thought she would get the $100 or the $1 million life insurance policy, but that never happened. So there was money, and they thought they were going to come into all this money, but it never really happened.
Everyone always thinks about that, and they think they got it all planned out, and that they're going to be rich, and they've covered all aspects of everything they could possibly do. But that's never the situation. There's always some sort of trail. Even if you change names and do things in different places, there's some sort of trail that led to that, because people are dumb, right? Because we think things and we're like, oh, I got to remind myself to do that. Or you type something on your phone one time to remind yourself about doing this on a different phone so you don't get caught. And then they can link that and be like, why did this number text this one phone number one time? Let's look into that number. And then they can track that and be like, oh, wow, we found a bank account, blah, blah, blah. And there's money being put in and there's this shady stuff happening. They can start to pinpoint that stuff.
I think a lot of this was insurance fraud, because Lori saw what kind of money she could get after the first husband died, because insurance was a big part of this and the money that they would get from insurance. But Lori's last husband took her off the policy, so she never got any of the money. He was smart. Oh yeah. He was smart, so she never got any of that. And Chad tried to fraudulently collect on his late wife's insurance policy. So it's a big mess. It is a case that you almost have to wait till Chad's trial's done, deep dive the facts from both trials, lay it out there, lay out all the weird crap that goes with it, of this person, that person is involved, make a diagram, flow chart. They tried to kill this one, and this one. And
it's a lot.
And then present the story, and then just say, in the end, Lori got this, and in the end, Chad got this.
Look, they're screwed up people, and that's it. Yeah,
Yep.
it's confusing. And I was just looking up other cases that like a big insurance fraud thing, and there's hundreds and hundreds,
Yeah.
thousands of them that are big named.
The one big thing with insurance companies, insurance fraud, that is what is killing insurance companies right now. Many companies have to have a special unit, or do have a special unit that investigates all that and tries to get all that money back.
Wow. So how do they get it back?
They got to take these people to court.
Yeah, but they're not going to get it back. I mean, think about that. These people are going to do life in prison, right? Most of them. And even if they don't, they're not going to pay that back.
No.
Like, there's just, it always goes against the civil judgment. And some states can put you in jail for contempt of court, but you got to be in their jurisdiction for that. You know, like it's just a civil, it's not really like a crime. It's just civil contempt. But I mean, is it realistic to think that the insurance company would actually get that? Or is there like some sort of thing that the courts can do to give the insurance company approval to get that money from the state? And then the state's responsible for trying to be like, okay, we need that reimbursed from that dude.
I think it's a combination of all of it.
Yeah. And then they can't make any like money on these books and stuff like that, right? So is he still making money on these books?
They're still selling.
I guess they can't stop him because it happened before all this. I mean, people will buy it left and right. All he's got to do is keep writing books to keep himself with money. People will buy it. They can write books about it all they want, I guess.
Well, I think because the books were written before, they can still sell them. But if he were to write anything future now and forward, they would take that money away from him.
Yep. Yeah, so it's like that same thing that Alex Murdaugh did. Stole money. It was all about life insurance. A professor, suspect George Landros murdered university professor Sue Markham to collect her $500,000 insurance claim. Like all sorts of people do this. And San Antonio woman convicted of killing her husband was arrested for insurance fraud. Another guy did it. You know, he faked his death. Multiple people do this just to get the money out of things. And it's like, look, if you guys need that much money for something, why don't they just ask for it somehow?
Right.
I mean, I seen one guy testify at Murdaugh's trial and said, you know what, dude, if you needed $12 million, all you had to do was ask me and I would have gave it to you. You didn't have to steal it. I would have gave it to you, you know? And it's like, wow, that's a friend. Hey man, can I have $12 million, Marv?
Yeah. I don't have it, but if I win the lottery.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's nuts what it drives people to do, everybody. You're killing their wives and kids and stuff like that over money so they can build new lives with other wives and have more kids. But
the thing is that's why these kids are dying so quickly today, is because of all this BS by these adults.
Yeah, and putting them in situations like that. So imagine if these people never get caught, okay, and these kids grow up like this. What are they going to be like? You ever met somebody in public and just thought, that's a weird dude, man. He's weird. Maybe that guy or that girl is one of those people that has grown up in a weird home like that was just tortured and demented by these people, and they don't know any better. And the way they act is not because they're mentally challenged or slow or anything like that. It's just simply because they've been like convinced that they are, what is that called? Munchausen syndrome? Like, what's that girl's name? That girl that just got released, Gypsy, something like that. Like that. That's a very good possibility. They say there's like 50 to 100 active serial killers active in the United States at all times. That's one person per each state, everybody, if you think about it. So there's some dude that lives kind of close to you, kind of close to me, that's running around killing people right now, and nobody knows who it is. And no one's going to find out either. And some people will. It could be your neighbor.
Could be anyone.
It could be Marv.
No, not Marv.
I know, but it's like, but
even though my husband says I could because I know so much about this. No, haven't done it yet.
Gypsy Rose.
Oh, Camaro, Gypsy Rose is an accident waiting to happen. You got that right.
Yeah, I see that she broke up with her boyfriend and got back together or something like that.
No, she's getting divorced from her husband.
Oh, is that what it is?
Who she married while she was in jail, and now she's with some other guy.
What? Why?
Yeah.
She breaks up with her husband a month ago. This is crazy.
I know.
So she breaks, okay, after she gets out of prison. So he basically supported her until she got out. And she's like, okay, I'm moving on now.
Yeah.
Or did he divorce her?
No, she left him. But I did hear that he took the money. So they were having this, one of the big networks was following her as she got out of prison and doing a storyline documentary about her life out of prison with him and all this. And apparently they had an account, and when she left him, he took the money.
After 3 months.
3 months. Well, they were married longer than that, but she was out of prison for 3 months. Yes.
And it ended. That's funny. Wow. Hey, I mean, what else? I mean, what did dude expect? I mean, people that get with these chicks that are getting out of prison, I mean, they're got to be the loneliest dudes ever. Okay. They're Keegan Kleins, basically.
It happens with men in prison too.
Yeah, those are Keegan Kleins. Yeah, I'd like to see the women that, you know what? How come when I go to prison, there ain't a bunch of women just flocking towards me going, hey, dude, what's up? It's quite the opposite when I go, everybody. Everybody's like, yeah, him, dude. Steer clear.
Speaking of Keegan Klein, I'm not giving any details to anyone, but I am working on another CSAM case that's bigger than Keegan Klein.
Bigger than Keegan Klein in Indiana?
Nope.
Connected to Indiana?
In a roundabout way, I guess.
Odinist, I get it. No, I got you.
I'm requesting some documents that might be coming out next week.
Really?
Yeah, I got to get some more information.
There is so much weird stuff that goes on in these cases. When you start thinking about all the twists and ties, if you guys haven't seen my recent video where I talked about, I think it's called Twist, Ties, Sex, and Lies, just watch that video presentation at the beginning. You ain't got to watch the whole live stream, but just watch that video presentation because it's just odd how people are so connected in so many ways. And they're all criminals, from attorneys to judges to cops to the people that are killing people. They're all connected in some way. Like this dude killed people and his attorney is a pedophile or a rape. You know what I mean? It's like, what? And they're still working on these cases and no one seems to care about those aspects. People are all screaming this corruption in like Carroll County, right?
Yeah.
And there is corruption, but they're pointing at it the wrong way. They're not corrupt and just framing Richard Allen. They're corrupt in other ways, and people need to like be more hip to what's really going on in Carroll County with like the politics, the judge, Shane Evans, all that stuff. You know, it's all these cases have these weird twists and ties between different people. You just got to look for it. And it does create compelling stories for YouTube and to bring people's attention because everyone's like, wow, how did you find that information out? You know, is because you just look through videos of other people's. Generally, everything that I get is through other creators. I see what they post. It's all like a contribution thing, whether they contribute to you on purpose or not. I listen to what Marv says, Frank says, Ruckus says, and I put all those things together because each person brings something to the table that the others don't. And that's why we have to collaborate to bring it all together.
Right.
Whew, I've been on a roll this week, dude. I got 3 videos made and none have aired.
Well, I've got tonight's live stream, tomorrow's, which, like I said, is Athena Brownfield. Then we go Thursday, Athena Strand. And then Friday is going to be just a fun night. We haven't had one of those in a long time on this channel, so we're going to have some fun and not talk true crime and just be together. And then next week, we go right back at it. I'm going to do a Tabitha episode I'm going to do Timothy Pitson, and then I got a couple more cases that I'm going to fit in there. And my list grew tonight. Don't know if you guys can see this, but it did grow because I did add your cases on there. Baby Amiah, we did that tonight, so I can cross that off. Harmony Montgomery, Audrey Cunningham, I want to do one on that. Quentin Simon, I'm going to do an update on. Another story I'm going to do an update on is Lily Peters, which happened here in Wisconsin.
Wait, so you're doing all these on Friday? What's on Friday?
Friday is just a fun night.
Okay, I was going to have a fun night too. What time are you doing your stream?
I think I set mine up for 6:30.
Okay, 6:30.
My time.
Okay, so I'll do mine later than that. So yeah. I'm actually going to do something, and I mentioned it once before. I need 3 participants. Okay, one person said that they would do it. I can't remember who it was. True Crime Jeopardy, everybody. So we've made a Jeopardy board, and we've got a game that we can play. Jay from Intertwine made it, and it's literally a Jeopardy game right here live. So like you'll be on here, I'll create it, we'll do it, we'll pre-record it, okay, and then we'll air it to the viewers later, okay? So it'll be the 3 people teeing off against each other and answering questions, and like the questions are all true crime based on this one. So it's going to be like topics, you know what I mean? Then you got like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, you know, the points. You have your daily doubles and things. And we just changed it up a little bit. And we're kind of doing that to talk about other cases a little bit, get more familiar with other cases, because it's quiz basically that we don't know. And we're going to see how good we can be at it and kind of develop a game. And we're going to give away merchandise and prizes and cash to people that win this. So, and it'll be fun for the viewers. So if you guys want to participate, send me an email at truecrimeInvestigatesofficial@gmail.com. Okay, so that's this Friday, pre-recorded, and then I'll edit it and air it later on. So that's my email address right there, everybody. True Crime Jeopardy.
Miracle Hearts, I just saw something. I think it was on TikTok about Carly Guzzi, and I was going to check that case out too.
I've heard that name, and I can put maybe a face to her, but I don't know who Carly Guzzi is.
Yeah. See, Friday night, my fun nights are not true crime related. We talk music, we talk food, we talk tips on decorating your house, whatever subject comes up other than some true crime comes in, but mostly it's just a fun night where we laugh and talk about things other than true crime.
You got to sometimes, and you got to like take a break and watch other things other than true crime too. You know, like people ask me all the time, "Oh, did you see this on the news?" I'm like, listen, I don't watch the news. If there's anyone that's out of tune with the world, it's me. I don't watch the news. I don't listen to the radio. I don't watch news on YouTube. I don't even read the news. I literally don't know anything that's going on in the world at all. So the only information I get is usually during my live streams when you guys tell me about it, or I'm doing the research and I just happen to see stuff.
Yes, Camaro, I did put down Oakley Carlson, and I did put down the Spreckled Mansion case too.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. There's so many different cases. So like,
I also put Ariel Sellers' case on there, Madalena, and Carly Guzzi. So my list just got longer. And I'll keep an eye on the comments under the video in case anybody who is on the rewatch crew has any suggestions for cases too.
Yeah. And at this point in time,
down under. Have a good night.
Hey, yeah, thank you very much. And hey, you should come on more often. I enjoy the conversation and the accent. Yeah. I do. So my channel, everybody, so like I'm not going to venture out to requested cases right now unless it's a collaboration with Marv. or somebody else on something because I can't. Yeah, I got too much.
Is happening.
Yeah, I got too much going on. So I'll cover things as they come up if I can. Other than that, I'm solely pretty much Delphi and working on this docuseries and other things. So I'm trying to keep you guys, I'm trying to keep busy with all of it. It's just hard because I'm trying to do it pretty much all myself and like one other person or two other people that's helping me, but they've also got lives to live too. So
right.
It's a lot. But we're in this long run. It's hard, but it's worth it.
I have, starting tomorrow, I have 22 more working days of work left. And then, so not only am I trying to do this, I'm also trying to find a job because I'm losing my job on the 14th of June. So I'm doing my regular job still. I'm doing YouTube and trying to find a job.
It's hard to do YouTube and jobs. You know what I mean? Because you gotta commit to that and then come home and try to do it, but also it's exhausting. Like I told everybody, like it comes a point where you're either just say, you know what, I'm either gonna do this all the time or do this all the time and still try to make this happen. Eventually you can, you know?
Yeah.
And the ultimate goal is to just run around and do this all the time. Really?
Well, that's like last week I was gonna start these update shows and I had to work on the job part of it. I have 2 more weeks of a special program that the company offers to help with resumes and LinkedIn and get your information on the job board. So I had to take care of that last week. And that's why this week I'm able to go forward with my plan from last week. So.
Wow. All right. Cool. So I was just texting someone about the documentary.
Lollipop, I'm losing my job due to downsizing in the company.
Yep. That's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
And then you got people like, so here's one of my live streams. Are defense attorneys scams? Is it just a scam? Is it just a scam to hire a defense attorney? You know, because if you don't, you're kind of like screwed because you don't know anything about the law, and they do. And you only hire defense attorneys when you're put on trial for something that you've been alleged of committing. So those defense attorneys automatically go in there and lie for you, no matter what, even if you did it. So like, that's kind of like a scam. That's a scam job, man. You pay someone to lie for you in court, which is illegal.
Yeah.
That don't make any sense to me. Brother-in-law? I don't know what that means.
Just remember, everybody, we are a fan-funded channel. We are fan-funded channels, and those donations that you make either through super chats, super stickers, in my case, PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App, truly do matter right now. Especially with me losing my job, and memberships. I do have some members. I have a brand account. I need to change it back to a personal account. So memberships are going to be changing again, but stay tuned for that. That'll be coming out probably next week.
Misty, you're clicking like on all my Twitter posts right now, and my phone is just going beep, 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 beep. I'm like, what the hell is going on my phone? Liked by Misty, liked by Misty, liked by Misty. 20 of them? You just see them all at once, Misty?
That's funny.
I'm like, what the hell is that? That's funny. All right. You need a shovel to win against these defense trolls. That's funny. Yeah, so you know what, everybody? So that's what Marv said. The importance of your donations goes a long way. Even if it's just $1, you know what I mean? If everybody pitched in $1 or $2 or $5 or $10, whatever you could afford, if you can afford it. We're not saying you have to.
My computer's glitching out again.
Is it? If you can afford it, it helps. And that's what keeps us doing this. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do it. right? So we appreciate it. And it's like, it helps us achieve our goals, you know, and helping other people. So it's kind of like all combined into one big collaboration. You guys help us make the content. Are you glitching? Or can you not hear me? Yep, you can't hear me no more. Marv glitched out, everybody. She glitched out. She's gone. Marv has glitched out. And speaking of memberships, make sure that you guys join the memberships for all of us and just help us tell the story of these victims that need their story told, you know, and let's tell the truth. Let's not be like these other mainstream media outlets that say they want justice for people and then go on mainstream media and lie about people being suspects and things like that, and intentionally mislead the public with things like court TV, law and crime, TV shows. Those are basically just YouTube channels on television. YouTube is YouTube TV. We have our own TV channel on YouTube. So there's no reason that we can't take what we have here and move it to television as well and reach all those people. And we do it with your help and your viewership.
Yes. So are we ready to wrap up for tonight?
Are we ready to wrap up for tonight? Okay, so I think that I'm good to go. Do you have an outro here? Or should I just play the intro as the outro?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to my intro and outro.
Oh, okay, I know where it's at. So you see how we're in the studio here, and you see at the top over here, if you go to brand, right?
If I go to brand.
So go to brand, okay? Click on brand. I'm there. Okay, and now look at the top of it. It says True Crime Investigates.
Oh.
Okay, so if you click that, or yours probably says Beyond the Evidence or whatever, right? And you click on it and it goes to, see, those are different backgrounds that we can use. So like we click on this one and we go back to True Crime Investigates, change it back, and you got the backgrounds all changed and everything.
Oh, okay.
You customize each one.
Gotcha.
But now they're all gone. There you go. Okay. Got them. All right. So
I'm messing with buttons. Yeah, you take it out.
Okay. All right. So I'll just go ahead and air the intro as the outro to get you guys the update, because this was the update for Amiah Robertson.
Yeah.
Any last comment on her?
I just hope that we can find out what truly happened to baby Amiah, and if she is gone, that she will be found and buried respectfully.
Yeah. And you know what, people? Justice may not always come in the way you want it. And sometimes it never comes at all.
Right.
But that hope keeps you moving, keeps you going forward. Without that little tiny piece of hope, you have nothing. And so don't destroy that hope for anybody else that's holding on to it, because it's everything to them. Okay. Everything. Literally. They hold on to that hope for everything. That's the last piece of things they got. Let them have it. Okay. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you guys this update as we cut out. I'll just play the intro as the outro.
Sounds good to me.
All right, everybody. So
see you tomorrow.
Keep it Southern style, y'all. And
justice matters.
I don't have any good news that's going to bring any closure to this family or the community in a case of the missing Amiah today. We still need information. What's unfortunate about this whole thing is there are people that know. There are people that know what exactly happened to Amiah, where she's at, and they don't have the moral courage to come forward and say what needs to be said. And that's disappointing. It's disappointing as a citizen, as a human being, that there are people that know what happened to this innocent child and don't have the moral courage to come forward and do the right thing.
A mother says the threats and harassment continue more than 6 months after her daughter disappeared.
Every day I get on to find out that everyone is sitting and saying that I don't search for my daughter, I don't cry over my daughter, I don't have love for my daughter the way I should, I don't care about my daughter, whatnot. The things that I do for my daughter, I do behind closed doors for a reason, and that is not to hopefully get bashed as bad as I do.
But says the search is being made more difficult by people spreading misinformation and threatening her online.
I get threatened that I'm going to be protested at my job, protested at houses that I'm at. I get threatened that I'm going to get beat up, whatever the case may be. And I mean, this isn't how it should be. I mean, this is a 1-year-old that is missing that would love to be home and gets no help from people because they waste their time spending it on bashing me.
Robertson says there's not a day that goes by that she doesn't think about where her daughter Amiah is.
I still look for her. Right now, where she could be, I don't know. I just pray she's with someone who is taking care of her and giving her the things that she needs and the attention that she needs because she's a 1-year-old who can't do it herself.
Welcome to True Crime Investigates and Beyond the Evidence. Tonight, we're revisiting the unsolved case of Amiah Robertson, the Indianapolis infant whose vanishing has baffled authorities and broken hearts. It all began on March 9th, 2019, when Amiah was last seen. But her disappearance wasn't reported until a week later, after her mother got into a domestic dispute with her former boyfriend, Robbie Lyons. That sparked a search that has yet to provide answers. Because on the night of March 8th, 2019, Amiah's mother, Amber, and her boyfriend at the time, Robbie, were out partying with some friends.
Police searched several locations with cadaver dogs back in 2019.
At some point, the two decided that they needed a babysitter. And so Robbie Lyons left the party with Amiah and took her to this home.
Just took another turn. It includes a video.
And she was never seen again.
The FBI is assisting with this video handed over by a homeowner near Amiah's babysitter's house where she never showed up, according to mother. The video shows a blue pickup truck pulled up to a dumpster on March 16th where someone exits the vehicle. A second security camera then records the same pickup truck pull up to Amiah's babysitter's home with mom reportedly inside, who eventually meets with a police officer to report Amiah missing.
It hurts, honestly, for her being gone. And I don't know. I really can't talk about it. I start tearing up. It's really hard to even talk about it, honestly.
What's your plea to the public?
Tell the news, tell the police, tell anything to get the little girl home. That's all I'm worried about, getting her home.
Cops dug up the yard, and all they found was a dead dog. Are the people at this house in on it too?
I mean, we ain't done nothing.
I went to their house, knocked on the door.
Leave us alone.
And I listened to people scream profanities at them. Because the public and the neighborhood thinks they're involved.
Get all that up over.
At the 2-year mark, 2021, the efforts to find Amiah have not yielded results. I traveled to Indianapolis to investigate the case, question potential suspects, and shed light on a community that's heartbroken. I've seen people who've been at the forefront of this case, searching tirelessly and documenting the 2nd anniversary of her disappearance and more, but the case has saw no movement.
The police kicked us out of our house, told us they come in here the next day and dug up my yard looking for that baby, and they found nothing. I was just glad they didn't dig up right there where that rock is, because my Rottweiler's buried there.
A copy of the search warrant provided by Barry doesn't list details or a location.
The warrant didn't even have an address on it. They could use it, wasn't anybody's house.
But they showed up at his. Barry's wife, Jeanette, is the woman police called Amiah's babysitter.
I don't have nothing to do with that baby.
She declined to talk to me on camera, saying her attorney advised her not to. Barry told me she watched Amiah 3 times.
My wife seen her for the first time like the end of February. What was it? She came out missing the 9th of March. It's 92 weeks. She's a babysitter.
And then a glimmer of hope when Amiah's mother faced charges for neglect of a dependent.
Hours ago, they have arrested the mother of 8-month-old Amiah Robertson.
And her former boyfriend, Robbie Lyons, the last man to see Amiah, received a prison sentence related to the little girl's disappearance.
Even if he doesn't know where she is, he may have information that could help lead to knowing where she is.
But Amiah herself still remains missing. The community is left with haunting questions. Was Amiah killed? And if so, where is she now? The absence of her presence is a void that cries out for closure. And so tonight, if you have any information, no matter how small, about the disappearance of Amiah Robertson, please come forward. Help bring peace to a story that has none. Tonight, we're breaking it down. Is this a case of no body, no crime? These two should be indicted for murder, and we're not gonna stop until that happens. All coming up right now on YouTube Live. This is Beyond the Evidence and True Crime Investigates.